Hello again. Today we are going to look at another type of naming of ionic compounds. This time they have polyatomic ions in them. This is a little bit different, but pretty much the same. All right. So first things first. When we're doing this, what we're going to be talking about is we've got the periodic table here, but we also have what are called polyatomic ions. Okay, and poly means many, and atomic means atoms. And if you notice on here, all these compounds or all these ions have a bunch of atoms in them. Okay, this has nitrogen and hydrogen. This one has carbon, hydrogen, some more carbon, some oxygen, and then oxygen again. Okay, so these are multi-atom ions. Okay, so do we need to know all these? No. Here's the important ones. NH4, ammonium, important. CH3COO, acetate, important. NO3, nitrate, important. OH, hydroxide, important. Skip all these. CO3, carbonate, important. OH, hydroxide again for some reason. That doesn't make any sense. Why would it have it twice? Whatever. SO4, sulfate, important. PO4, phosphate, important. Everything else, you could take it or leave it. We'll see it sometimes, but sometimes it's pretty rare that you'll see problems that have any of the other ones. Okay, so let me highlight them. Let's highlight these. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay. Everything else, they're there, they exist, but you're not going to see them very often. All right. So how do we do this? How do we use these? Well, basically, we're going to do the same thing we did in the last video, writing names for type 1 ionic compounds, but this time we're going to use this name. Okay. It's very easy compared to, things that are hard. But compared to what we just did, it's another small step. Okay, so let's try some problems. All right, let's say we've got lithium Li with, let's say, OH. Okay, so over here, hydroxide, OH. So step one. So now this is a step one. This is a new step one. Determine if the compound has a polyatomic ion. Do you want to know how you determine it? Look here. If there are more than 2 capital letters, if there's more than 2 elements, there is a polyatomic. Okay, if there are more than 2 elements, there's a polyatomic ion. See how this one has Li, it has O, and it has H. It has 3 elements. Therefore, it's polyatomic ion. All right. Step 2. Write the name of the cation. Okay, you're writing this down, right? You're not just sitting there like a lump. You're writing these things down as I'm saying them, because if you're not writing them down, you're not really learning anything. Li, lithium, first element, cation. Cation, because it's the positive one. Okay? Li, we're going to write lithium. Done. Step 3. Write the name of the anion. Okay, so the difference here is the anion here is not just one element. All right, anion, the negative half. We go over to our chart of polyatomic ions, OH, hydroxide. So we write hydroxide. We're done. Lithium hydroxide. That's the name. Okay. There's not really a huge difference between the way we did this the first set, the type 1, and the way we do the second set with polyatomic ions. The only difference is we're not changing the name and putting the IDE at the end. We're just taking the name directly from our list of polyatomic ions. Okay, so it's not a huge change from what we just did. Okay, let's do a couple of practice problems. All right, let's do BA3 PO4 2. Let's do MG SO4. Let's do NH4 2 CO3. And let's do Li NO3. All right, those are our major polyatomic ions. Okay, so number 1, cation, barium. Barium, done. Second part, there's more than 2 capital letters here, right? There's 3 capital letters, P and O and BA. That means there's 3 elements. So we look up PO4. PO4, we see it. It is called phosphate. Notice that it starts with phosph because of phosphorus. The 8 part comes from the oxygen. Don't ask me why, but that's how it's defined, okay? This PO4 is phosphate. Second one, magnesium, Mg. Cation, magnesium. So we write magnesium. SO4, right? More than 1 capital letter, more than 2 capital letters. We got 3 of them. We look up SO4. SO4 is sulfate. We see how we've got the 8 again, and we've got the sulf from the sulfur. So this is magnesium sulfate. Okay, you probably wrote down the list of polyatomic ions already, right? You put it in your notebook because I highlighted them and I said, hey, you should write this down. Next one. Ooh, there's lots of capital letters in this one. Okay, so this one, cation, NH4. NH4 is not an element, but it is a polyatomic ion. So you go and look it up, and NH4 is ammonium. Okay, so we put the name, ammonium. CO3, you can imagine it's probably going to end in 8. Might be something similar to that. All right. C is carbon, so surprise, surprise, this is called ammonium carbonate. Done. Next one, Li and NO3. Li, we look that up. That is we know it's lithium. Okay. Now we've got more than 2 capital letters, so we have a polyatomic ion here. NO3. I would be willing to wager that you are a smart person and you're like, oh, phosphate, sulfate, carbonate. This is probably nitrate. And you'd be right because you're a smart person. Nitrate. So lithium nitrate. Okay, let's recap. Polyatomic ions, NH4, acetate. We didn't do acetate. That's okay. NO3, hydroxide, carbonate, phosphate, sulfate. Those are our most important ones. They're the ones you're going to see the most often. Okay, the steps for doing this. 1, determine if there's a polyatomic ion in it. That means there's more than 2 capital letters or more than 2 elements. Just a good way to know if it's more than 2 elements is how many capital letters it has. Step 2, write the name of the cation, the positive part, the first part. Okay. Step 3, write the name of the anion, the negative part, the second half. Okay. That's done. You're it. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. Okay. You don't have to change anything, unlike with the type 1 where you had to change to IDE. This one, you just write it as it is. Okay. Well, good job. We'll see you again with the next video.